You won't believe how fast these racing beasts go round corners. Yep, today on Dirt Diaries we're upsizing for a visit to the super trucks. We've swapped clouds of dust for the darker diesel smoke. And we see some muscle cars that cost more than a house deposit. We're off on the road again for another racing adventure. If you enjoy these videos, then please subscribe to help me out. Today we're driving 2 hours to Levels Raceway in Timaru for Thunder Down Under. But before we get there, we've been stopped waiting at New Zealand's longest road bridge. Something bigger than a super truck is trundling over the Rakaya Bridge, which stretches 1,757 metres. Look at that, you gotta give us a thumbs up now if you've learned something. And after journeying through the rural farmlands, we've arrived. No ticket booth today, rather a ticket gazebo, where today's entrance would cost us $30. As we walk in, can I say how nice it is to get a physical ticket? You don't often get those. It was then through the tunnel of caravans where we got our first glimpse of today's racetrack. We wandered along and settled on a spot by turns 1 and 2, just down from the starting straight to watch the Mini 7s. After setting up base for the day, it was time to take a wander past the food options and towards the pits. The great thing about this place is you can get right up close to the cars on the dummy grid and in the pits. As the muscle cars rolled out, the Minis returned to the pits for a tune-up. The presentation of all these vehicles was just top-notch. I can't imagine how much car polish was in this place. And then we ducked in to lay our eyes on the super trucks. I'd soon learned that these Freightliners can fly, with engines capable of putting out 1,500 to 1,600 horsepower. Truck racing started in New Zealand in 1989, before really taking off through TV coverage in 1991. But really, seeing these things in person, it's hard to believe something so big can tear around a racetrack. Just listen to these tyres screeching as they start the race.
Going to Frank Collins, Elms Little actually, 120.8,
I felt nervous watching a truck go slightly wide, so I can't imagine the adrenaline kick for these drivers. Yep, that's a much deserved applause for these guys. With the trucks heading back to the pits, it was time to get up and explore more of this racetrack. Once again we were treated to some sublime weather. I feel for anyone who didn't have sunblock. And hey, did one of the trucks leave its trailer behind? Nope, a makeshift grandstand, a bit of Kiwi ingenuity. The racetrack here is 2.4 kilometres long with 10 turns and meets the standards of FIA Category 3, which allows Timaru to host international events. Yep, they've gone above and beyond. You can even chuck on some washing outside the toilets. It was a Speedway classic for lunch. Plenty others were certainly more prepared than me, bringing the barbecues from home. But one thing I didn't see anyone bring was slushies, and that food truck was making coin. The Formula 4 cars are good value, with plenty of promising teams from New Zealand and Aussie battling it out at the start of their racing careers. But we can't forget the central muscle cars. This lot was a mix of Chevy Camaros and Monzas, Ford Mustangs, and even a few Holden Tiranas. Time for another fun fact. Did you know Holden named the Tirana, seen here driving past, after the Aboriginal word that means to fly? Look at that, we're full of learning on Dirt Diaries. I've actually got one more interesting detail for you, this one especially for Speedway fans. Racing the number 07 car is Craig Booth, who you might remember as the 3-time Superstock champ. He won in 97, 98 and 2000. If you squint hard enough, you'll see today's 2 top drivers, Andy Knight in the white and black Camaro, with Angus Fogg chasing behind in his black and gold Mustang. After watching the glitz and glamour, it was time to size back up for today's drawcard. I can't get over the size of these big rigs, but I've got to say, this is easily the biggest dummy grid I've seen. Down the straights, these super trucks can hit speeds of 160 kilometers an hour, or 100 miles, which just looks insane, especially with a few overtakes thrown in. Fair to say, that's a bit of diesel smoke for the people in turn 3. Oh, g'day mate, been well? How's this for a rubbish effort?
Oh.
Even the tow trucks around here are supersized. Hopefully the bill isn't too big to fix up this Ford Futura. It was certainly a conflict of comforts going from truck cockpits to squeezing into minis. And as they lined up on the starting grid, I was disappointed to see no green flags. And with that, it was time for us to call it a day, as the cars packed up to head home. If you've liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe, as next time we're back to the dirt, watching the sprint cars kick up the dust.